All right, guys, we are going to talk about volume now. If you have been labeling your pages, it's page 88. If you have not, go to the page where we talked about graphs just recently and go forwards just a little bit, okay? Page 88, volume. All right, we're going to start on page 90, where it says the volume of rectangular prisms, okay? Volume is going to be the total, capacity is our word. Get a different marker. Oh, that one's too fat. Capacity of a 3D shape. Capacity means how much can fit, okay? How much liquid can fit in this Coke can? How much rice can I fill in this little cone? How much, whatever can I fit inside this 3D object? So it's talking about capacity and the amount of space that it can occupy, that it fills, okay? So these are prisms. If you'll remember that prisms have two bases. So right here, two bases, and these bases have to be parallel. Parallel means they do not touch, okay? So like your bases can be the top and the bottom because those are parallel. Maybe you want to do the left and the right. These guys are parallel. And maybe you want to do the front and back. The front and back is a little bit harder to color, so I'm just going to do the top and bottom again. Okay? So those are the bases. There's two. They're parallel, which means they never touch. Just in case you forgot, the base names the shape. So this looks like it might be a square prism, maybe a square prism, maybe a rectangular prism. If we don't have numbers, we want to call it a rectangle just because we can't be sure. For square, it has to be the same. Okay? So we want to always shade your base with your pencil, with your highlighter, something to make sure you know what the bases are, okay? Because your height, and we're going to put a big B, and we'll talk about in a minute why we do that. Big B, big B. Your height is going to be the distance between your bases. Big B, height, okay? So volume can be determined by finding the area of the base, which we call big B, and multiplying it by the height of the object, okay? So our formula is V equals capital B H, okay? V equals big B little h. This is a new formula we have not looked at. So again, it's a capital B. There is a reason for that, okay? Now, before we go here, I want you to turn back 2 pages, okay? You'll see volumes of prisms. This is actually going to be your homework, but we're going to go to the page right beside it, okay? Now, if you notice, there's 2 of them, because if you were in person, I would have put 2 on a page, cut them, and had you glue into your journal. But we didn't, so you're just needing half of it, okay? All right, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about big B and little h, because it's different than little b, little h. All right? So in a 3D shape, big B means the area of the base, okay? When we talked about little b, it just means the base of a 2D shape. But big B means the area of the base of a 3D shape, okay? And then like I said a while ago, little h is the height, and it is found between the bases. So once you highlight your bases or shade with your pencil, whatever, it's super easy to see what the height is, okay? Now with rectangular prisms, it doesn't matter which bases you pick. We're all going to get the same answer. But for our notes, I want us to pick the same one, okay? So we could do top and bottom. We could do sides. I'm going to do the sides just because that gives me a little more room. So everybody with your pencil, with your marker, matte pencil, highlighter, whatever you have, I want you to shade these bases, okay? Every single time we're shading the bases. We're going to label it big B. Okay, that's my base. Now, the number between the bases is your height, okay? And you might say, well, that's on the bottom. It's not really height. If you had done the top and bottom, then 2 could have been your height. But this is why it's important to shade your bases. So this distance is 10. So I like to label this before I do anything, okay? Now, these next steps are going to be super important because In a few days, you're going to work backwards. And so if you don't know how to show all your steps, you're going to be confused when you work backwards. Okay? So we start with big B first. Big B equals. All right, that's a rectangle, so it's BH. Okay, so I'm just looking at my base. Okay, the base of the base is 5. The height is 2. 5 times 2 is 10. Okay, that's big B. Now my formula says V equals big BH. Again, you really want to make sure that you're writing these formulas and plugging in because you're going to get lost if not. Okay, this 10, I'm going to take right here and I'm going to plug it in, 10. Okay, and then my height is the other number, times 10. 10 times 10 is 100. And now this is area, so it's going to be centimeters cubed. So it has a little 3, okay, because there are 3 dimensions for volume, okay? All right, that's a rectangular prism. So now let's look at a triangular prism, okay? Now again, a lot of people's first instinct is, I want to shade that bottom right here. This is the base. Okay, if this is the base, there better be something parallel to it. If there's not, it has to be a pyramid. And you're like, oh, duh, this is that one that they say always tricks me. Don't fall for it, okay? Actually, it's going to be the triangles, okay? So if you think it's the bottom, then double check to make sure there is one parallel. If it's not parallel, it either better be a pyramid or you got to change your bases, okay? This is the most confusing shape. Again, big B, big B. All right, the first thing I want to do every single time is solve for big B. Big B equals. Now, I'd used BH here because this was a rectangle, but this one's actually a triangle. So I'm going to use 1/2 BH. Okay. Now, again, I'm only looking at my triangle. I'm not looking at any other numbers. So 1/2 times 8 times 3. Half of 8 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. Now, I'm not done. Again, I forgot to circle this. When I shaded, I should have circled immediately just so I didn't forget. Okay. Now, all prisms, okay, whether it's a rectangular prism or a triangular prism, they both have big BH. Okay, that's our formula. Big BH. B equals big BH. I'm going to plug 12 in. Okay. So this is 12 times my height, which is 10. 12 times 10 is 120 centimeters cubed. Okay. So that is my volume, 120 centimeters cubed. Now remember, if it's a triangular prism, the base is a triangle, which means don't forget that 1/2. Okay? Give you a second to catch up. When you're done, we're going to flip back to that page we were just on. Sorry for the flipping around, but I just felt like this other page did a better job of explaining it. Okay? So now let's try this one. Okay? V equals big BH. Big B is, okay, let's do the top. And this bottom. And it's not perfect, I know. Don't judge my artwork here. Okay, so big B is going to be 6 times 9, which I know is 54. And I'm going to plug it back in. V equals big BH. I'm going to plug that in. Big B is 54. My height is the number between those, which is 4.5. And yes, you can use a calculator. Okay, I don't expect you to do all this math. I'd rather us practice the skill. When we multiply, we get 243 centimeters cubed. 243 centimeters cubed. Okay. All right. That is rectangular prisms. Pretty easy. If you turn to the next page, there are a couple more if you want to do them, if you want to practice. If you don't have to. We're going to turn to page 92 really quick, and we're going to do some triangular prisms. Okay? Triangular prisms, very similar. It just has a triangular base. Okay? All right. So, a triangular prism has the same formula. V equals big BH. However, the base is a triangle. So big B is equal to the area of a triangle. And again, if you're going to mess up, this is where you're going to mess up because you're going to forget about the 1/2. Okay? Triangles always, always, always have to have that 1/2. Okay? We're not going to do all these, so don't panic. This only wants us to find the area of a triangle. So 1/2 BH, 1/2. My base, remember your base and height have to make a right angle? Well, there's my right angle right there. Okay? So I know that 14 is my base, and then the height of that triangle is actually 7. Okay? Half of 14 is 7. 7 times 7 is 49. Okay? This is only practicing for, not squared, sorry. Yeah, squared. This is only practicing for area, not volume. So we're just reminding you of area. Okay? For this one, your base and height are your right angle. So that's base, that's height. You multiply them, divide by 2. Here, base, height, 9 times 10, half is 45. Okay? So that's just a quick review on how to do triangles. All right, let's do a prism. Well, first it wants us to shade the base. Again, everybody's first instinct is, oh, it's sitting on this bottom, so this is the base. That is not your base because there's nothing parallel. Okay? These triangles are actually my base. So don't forget that. If you're not sure, double check to see if there's something parallel. Okay? This one is the same way. It's sitting on that rectangle. It looks tempting. The actual one is the triangles. Hence the name triangular prism. Okay? And this is the height, and this is the height. Okay? All right, let's practice solving one. So we have this tent. Okay? And if you don't like to highlight, that's fine. You can just shade. And if it's not drawn in, you can just draw it in, so that way you know for sure what you're doing. And again, no one's judging your art, and hopefully you're not judging mine. And I'm going to go ahead and circle this and label it as my height before I do any math. Shade the bases, label the height. Okay? So first thing is big B is a triangle. So I have to do 1/2 BH. Okay, that's not showing up very well. So 1/2. The base of this triangle is 4. The height of this triangle is 3.5. Okay? Half of 4 is 2. 2 times 3.5 is 7. If you want, you can just multiply 4 times 3.5. When you do that, you get, 4 times 3.5. Jiminy Cricket, my calculator's messing up. Quit. 4 times 3.5 is going to be 14. I know I could have done that in my head. Divided by 2 is 7. Okay? Now, this is not the answer. This is just big B. And I always like to do it in different colors. That way I remember, oh, yeah, that's only the base. Because, like I said, we are going to be working backwards next time. Well, not next time, but the next. Okay? So now I plug in 7. The height is 7. So the volume of this guy is 49 feet cubed. Okay? One little tiny step at a time. One step at a time. One step at a time. Okay? I'm going to do one more with you, and I think that will be enough. If you need more, let me know, and I'll be happy to post some more videos. Okay? But let's go ahead and turn the page. Just a quick reminder that the base of the shape is what names it. Okay? It's named by the shape of the base, so that's going to tell you if it's a rectangle or a triangle. Okay? Faces that do not touch. I got hair, sorry. Okay. So, again, this one, that's one base, and that's a base. Okay? Here, my bases are front. Whoops, no, they're not. Miss Davis. I'm going to highlight because I messed up. I forgot what I was doing. Okay, the base is this yellow triangle on the bottom and the yellow triangle on top. Okay, this one, it's the triangle in the front, triangle in the back. Okay, now I just want to do one more with you, so we're going to do this bottom one. And then again, if you want me to do more, I can make more videos or I can help you in class. All right, first thing, label my bases. Before I do anything, label my base. Okay. All right. Big B is a triangle, so I have to remember to put 1/2 in front of it. Okay. Now I look at only the shaded part. That's my height. Okay, I know my base is 5. My height is this guy, which I don't know. But remember, these are congruent, so I look back here and I see this is 7. So 1/2 of 5, not super easy. 1/2 of 7, not super easy. So I multiply 7 times 5 and I get 35. 35 divided by 2 is 17.5. Again, I am not done. That's why I don't see an answer here. Okay. Formula. V equals capital BH. All right, I'm going to plug this guy in. 17.5. My height was 11. So now I just multiply. And I get 192.5 feet cubed, which is answer choice B. Okay. I'm going to write these answers down just in case you care if you want to practice. This one's 168. This one's 432. This one's 126 if you want to go and practice. I'll go ahead and give you these two. 171. This one we're going to come back and do later because it's a working backwards. If you think that you are good and you want to try it out, go for it. But it's a working backwards problem. Okay? Now before we leave, I have a joke for you. All right, and for the teacher joke of the day, what did one math book say to the other math book? I don't know about you, but I sure have a lot of problems. I know, you're laughing inside even if you're not laughing with me. All right, guys, practice, 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 and we will see you next time. Bye.